And we are joined now by Ukraine's ambassador to the United States, Oksana Markarova. Welcome back to Face the Nation, Ambassador.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having me.
Your president issued 2 pleas for help this morning. He said if the West does not provide Ukraine with at least planes, there's only one conclusion to make. You also want us to be killed very slowly. This morning, Secretary Blinken said there is a green light for Poland to give you those fighter jets. Do you know if you will get them, and what difference will it make?
Well, as we see during 11 past days, I think Ukrainians have shown to all the world that we are not going to stop and we are not going to surrender. And we will defend our homes. And like in 2014, when Russians attacked us the first time, and there was this brutal destruction of Donetsk airport, where Ukrainian cyborgs, people that our military guys defended the airport until the very end, until it collapsed. And there is a saying we have that, the cyborgs withstood, the concrete didn't. We don't want that to happen again. So we will fight. Our brave men and women of the armed forces and all the civilians who are stopping the enemy without weapons even will fight, and we need all the support in order to sustain this fight.
Do you know when those planes will come?
We are hoping as soon as possible, and we are working with our American, especially friends and allies, on the steady supply of all the ammunition and anti-air, anti-tank, and planes to be able to effectively defend our country.
It terrified the world, frankly, this week when they saw that Russia fired on a nuclear power plant in Ukraine. And your president told Congress yesterday forces from Russia seized 2 nuclear power plants in Ukraine. They're advancing towards a 3rd. Yes. Are you on your own to defend these? Is any help coming from anywhere in Europe to secure the nuclear plants?
Well, I think it should come, because the first station that they seized was Chernobyl station, which is very risky, but it's not operational. So there is a lot of waste there and everything else. And since they won off the war, the personnel that is there is held hostage. There are no change of shifts, so it's very dangerous. The second one, Zaporizhia, is the largest one in Europe. So actually that put a world on the brink of the nuclear disaster. And even though, again, our firefighters were able to put down the fire, nobody is safe. Ukraine is not safe. Europe is not safe. Because these stations are not supposed to be run by war criminals. They're supposed to be run by responsible engineers. So this is something that we are raising as an issue, because Ukraine has many power plants. Mm-hmm. And all of them could be under attack, because, again, we all are shocked not only about that, but about all this indiscriminatory shelling of civilians, shooting people, bombing schools, now nuclear plants. What's next?
So, but what's the solution there? Are you asking to, UN officials to come in and help secure? I mean, what is the option available to Ukraine to secure these plants now?
Well, this is the question to the world. We are ready for any option. We're talking about the closed skies. We're talking about any type of security operations. We're talking to anyone. So whoever, whether it's the UN or any other or individual countries, we should act together. We are defending it. We're doing everything possible. We are being responsible. Even though we are defending our home, our armed forces are very careful not to shoot at the power plants, not to do any damage that could impact not only Ukraine but us. We cannot say about the Russian criminals, mm-hmm. who are doing everything specifically to destroy Ukraine.
And Russia, of course, denies any of this is deliberate, and denies the reports from your government that they're raping women, that there's a deliberate targeting of nuclear power plants and infrastructure. They deny bombing Holocaust Memorial deliberately. Do you think that the international community is doing what it's supposed to do, or do you feel like the international system is failing Ukraine?
Look, first, it's appalling that Russia is denying it and that they are lying. Because we see it online, and I would like to thank all the brave men and women, journalists, who are now in Kyiv and in all the other places showing what's actually happening in Ukraine. It happens. They did it deliberately. We see it on videos, photos, and we all talk to people back home. Mm-hmm. So Russians are escalating, and they are quick. and we're very helpful. We're very thankful to all our partners, and especially to the United States, to everyone, to President Biden, for everything they're doing to support us. But it's clear after 11 days that we also need all of us to move faster, because Russians are escalating.
You attended the State of the Union last week as a guest of the First Lady. The president addressed this country talking about Ukraine. That's very different for the American people to hear. How do you explain to the American people why this $10 billion in aid that President Biden is asking for, why should you as taxpayers be concerned and invested in your country?
Well, Ukraine didn't do anything to be attacked. We didn't provoke Russia. We didn't do anything. We were not a threat to Russia, unless being a peaceful democracy and just peacefully living in your own country is a threat. And if it's so, then it's not only about Ukraine. Then Europe and the whole world is not safe. I mean, we see President Putin threatening everyone with all the forces, including the nuclear force. We have to stop him because, again, it's not just some conflict, it's not just some regional problem. It's a full-fledged war that a nuclear large power that actually signed an assurances together with the United States and Great Britain when we denuclearized Ukraine voluntarily in 1994, gave us assurances not to attack us. So we are first, and we need to stop Putin and this criminal war in Ukraine, rather than waiting until we all together will have to fight it everywhere.
Madam Ambassador, thank you again for joining us.